Welcome to my new photo walk series where I scout and explore new locations with my Nikon D750. Today we're exploring what is called the prettiest Cotswold village, so let's go and see how it fares in this murky winter weather. So I've got my GoPro on today as I was going to do a bit of a street photography styled video, but I've already got the tripod out, so clearly the landscape photographer in me just can't leave it alone. I've also popped a polarizing filter onto my lens to try and take a little bit of the glare off the water and the road and to bring a bit more texture out into those buildings. I've got this really quaint bridge and a little river trickling softly underneath it, and then behind along this narrow road you've got the Cotswold Old English houses. In order to go handheld and get a decent exposure, I had to crank up my ISO to around 640 to 800, something that I don't generally need to do with landscape work, but because it was such an incredibly dull and dark day, it was necessary. I tried to exclude the sky as much as possible in my compositions, otherwise it created blank, empty spaces. So I've taken a walk through the village and I've come across this big manor house that I'm going to explore, and I'm currently stood in a lane leading towards it, and I found a great composition, a very interesting one. At the end of this stone lane, which goes off to the side, off to the right, you've just got the top of this manor house peering in the gap between these trees. I think this could be really interesting further at night when all the lights are turned on, especially the lights on this stone wall. But for now, I'm taking a shot and I'm using my tripod because we've got quite a big difference between the exposure of the sky and the exposure of the brick walls down below. I'm taking 2 shots, 2 exposures, blend them together. This path leading towards the manor house is fantastic. You've got this little bridge that you go over, and either side of the bridge you've got 2 trees that are leaning over into the middle of the road, and you can only just imagine what this looks like in other seasons when those trees are full of leaves and colour. Fantastic leading line subject leading directly to the manor house in the background. So take a test shot. Definitely want to come back to in future seasons just to see how the scene changes. One thing I've learnt by adding a GoPro to the B-roll mix is that I am either hella short or I hunch a lot, because why are we looking at the floor? I think it's important to step outside your comfort zone sometimes and do different things, and I'm taking the opportunity when the weather is so dull and murky to explore new ideas, different locations. I don't tend to do this type of photography often, kind of buildings, towns, villages, but it's really nice to do something a bit different. I made a friend. It was at this point I knew there would be no more productivity as long as my new friend followed me around the gardens and tried to eat my gear. No, you can't eat my microphone. So, scouting mission is successful, definitely one to return to in the future. This will be fantastic in spring and autumn. Should have done this one a few months ago. Better late than never.